Last Friday, IFC Midnight released their British supernatural horror film Ghost Stories, and we want to keep the hype train a-rollin' by giving you an exclusive clip from the film where Professor Goodman, co-director Andrew Nyman, meets with Simon Rifkind, Lawther, to discuss a strange and terrifying event the young boy experienced. While Rifkind is agitated to the point that we're not certain if what he says can be trusted or not, his fear cannot be denied, and Professor Goodman is clearly unsure what to make of the situation. Ghost Stories is directed Andy Nyman and Jeremy Dyson, the former who stars alongside Martin Freeman, Paul Whitehouse, Lawther, and Jill Halfpenny. Professor Goodman, a psychologist and skeptic, who has his rationality tested when he stumbles across a long-lost file containing details of 3 terrifying hauntings. He then embarks on a mission to find rational explanations for the ghostly happenings. Ghost Stories made nearly $13,000 from one theater in New York City over this past weekend. A delightfully surprising and strong performance, this could see the film expand to more theaters in the coming weeks beyond Los Angeles or other major cities this Friday. However, nothing is confirmed, and we can only keep our fingers crossed that each new location performs as well and we have another theatrical horror hit this year. Special effects artist Steve Johnson has a long and storied career in Hollywood. From working on films such as Predator, A Nightmare on Elm Street 4, The Dream Master, Lord of Illusions, and more, to makeup on Return of the Living Dead 3, Night Watch, and Night of the Demons 2, his work has been seen in a swath of films that genre fans know and love. Hell, the guy even created Slimer from Ghostbusters. If that doesn't make him Hollywood royalty, I honestly don't know what does. Right now, Johnson has a Kickstarter going for Rubberhead Volume 2, Sex, Drugs, and Special Effects, the second book in a 5-volume series that chronicles the work he's done over the years. Included in this particular book is a section called The Ones That Got Away. That's what brings us to today and to this particular article. We were absolutely fascinated with some of the films that Johnson got to work on that never ended up seeing the light of day, and we managed to get our hands on some exclusive concept art from both Tim Burton's cancelled Superman and Clive Barker's Mummy project. We also have a suit test video from the former, which features Danny Elfman's music from Batman, so it's extra thrilling. You can read about both projects and see the concept art below. The Superman suit video is above. Also, click on the Kickstarter link above if you want to help make Johnson's second book a reality. Tim Burton Superman. For the ill-fated Tim Burton Superman movie, Johnson was contracted to craft all manner of elaborate costumes, props, puppets, and prosthetics for a project that was to be doomed by an overextended budget. It was absolutely massive because not only were we working on these Superman suits, we were doing Doomsday, we were doing a menagerie, a Brainiac, and an entire spaceship that was literally filled with creatures. It looked like the Star Wars cantina on steroids. Steve Johnson exclaims. Of the standout pieces were multiple bioluminescent Superman regeneration suits, all of which glowed purely by way of practical effects. The effect was created using Xyloom, the active liquid in glow sticks, strategically pumped through a series of elaborate tubing patterns which gave the appearance of glowing blood pumping through veins. Other suits were powered by a fiber optic light setup informed heavily by Johnson's groundbreaking work on James Cameron's The Abyss, a creation he claims pleased him more than any other in his entire career. Clive Barker's Mummy. Clive Barker had teamed up with Mick Garris, Critters 2, Psycho IV, on a brand new mummy concept that the two pitched to Universal. The hypererotic plot involved a transsexual occultist protagonist who attempted to reanimate mummies within a prestigious museum setting. Shortly after collaborating with Barker on Lord of Illusions, Steve Johnson signed up to help him create a visual proof of concept in order to help Barker pitch the project, which had not yet been greenlit. Johnson signed on an even-built proof of concept, Creatures, funding the endeavor entirely out of his own pocket to help Barker sell it in to Universal. For inspiration, Barker and Johnson exhaustively researched museums, Egyptian sculptures, statues, and artifacts to ensure historical accuracy while imbuing the mummies with a heavy dose of classic sadomasochistic Clive Barker style. Johnson explained, "If you do your research on real mummies in Egypt, they look nothing like Boris Karloff mummies or mummies in the new Mummy movies." The goal was to include all of the realistic detail and adornment in a way that was accurate to real Egyptian mummies, which had never been done before. We were going to make them fascinating, Cenobite-like creatures but based entirely in reality and history. Unfortunately, the project was never greenlit by Universal. Clive Barker told Fangoria, "Looking back, our version of the Mummy was precisely what the powers that were at Universal did not want. The newest entry in the always lovable Tremors series will be hitting Blu-ray Combo Pack DVD, on demand, and digital on May 1st. And today we have a fun new clip from Tremors, A Cold Day in Hell to share. It features a sequence that reminds me a lot of the Ice Planet Creature vs. Kirk scene in J.J. Abrams' Star Trek. You can check out the clip below and then make sure to let us know what you think in the comments below or on Facebook, Twitter, and/or Instagram. Tremors, the complete collection will be available on DVD on May 1st, and Tremors, A Cold Day in Hell hits Blu-ray Combo Pack DVD, on demand, and digital also on May 1st. Special features include, the making of Tremors, A Cold Day in Hell, filmmakers, cast, and crew discuss why Tremors, A Cold Day in Hell is the most bone-blasting Tremors movie yet. Anatomy of a scene. Watch as we break down the various elements that need to come together to film the first underwater graboid attack. Inside Chang's Market. Chang's Market is an iconic location in Tremors history. See how it was recreated and updated for this installment of the franchise. Synopsis: Burt Gummer, Michael Gross, and his son, Travis Welker, Jamie Kennedy, find themselves up to their ears in graboids and ass blasters when they head to Canada to investigate a series of deadly giant worm attacks. Arriving at a remote research facility in the Arctic tundra, Burt begins to suspect that graboids are secretly being weaponized, but before he can prove his theory, he is sidelined by graboid venom. With just 48 hours to live, the only hope is to create an antidote from fresh venom, but to do that, someone will have to figure out how to milk a graboid. It has been rumored forever at this point that Mr. John Carpenter would be returning to score the upcoming Blumhouse sequel to his original classic Halloween. But today we have confirmation via Uber producer Jason Blum, who took to Twitter to let a fellow fan know that yes, Carpenter is 100% providing the creepy musical cues for Blumhouse's Halloween. This is, of course, epic news, and I'm glad that now that filming has wrapped on the new film, Carpenter is holding to the previously announced plan to begin working on the score. How excited are you for Blumhouse's Halloween? Make sure to hit us up and let us know what you think in the comments below or on Facebook, Twitter, and/or Instagram. Halloween is directed by David Gordon Green based on a script he wrote with Danny McBride. Jamie Lee Curtis returns as Laurie Strode, as does Nick Castle as Michael "The Shape" Myers. They are joined by Will Patton, Andy Matichak, and Judy Greer. Halloween creator John Carpenter is on board as executive producer and composer. The anticipated release date is October 19, 2018. Synopsis: Jamie Lee Curtis returns to her iconic role as Laurie Strode, who comes to her final confrontation with Michael Myers, the masked figure who has haunted her since she narrowly escaped his killing spree on Halloween night 4 decades ago.